Bruce Lee's secret. The gym was silent except for the rhythmic sound of fists hitting punching bags and the occasional squeak of ring ropes. Muhammad Ali, already a legend at age 32, watched Bruce Lee curiously as the Jeet Kune Do master demonstrated moves that seemed to defy the laws of physics. It was 1973, and the two men, each at the height of their craft, had met by chance in Los Angeles. Ali, always provocative, couldn't resist. "Hey, Bruce," he said, crossing his muscular arms, "everyone says you're fast, but I want to know, what's your secret? How do you do that with your body?" Bruce stopped, wiped the sweat from his forehead with the back of his hand and looked at Ali with a serene smile. It wasn't the first time he'd been asked this question, but something in Ali's tone, a mix of defiance and genuine search, made him respond differently. "Do you want to know the secret?" Bruce approached, lowering his voice as if sharing something forbidden. "It's not about speed. It's not about strength. It's about emptying." Ali frowned, intrigued. "Empty what?" "All." Bruce gestured as if clearing the air in front of him. "Most people carry the weight of what they think they know. They train muscles, techniques, but they do not train the mind. You, for example, are the greatest boxer in the world because you dominate the ring. But what happens when the ring disappears? When there is no opponent, there is no audience, there is no belt? Who are you then?" Ali opened his mouth to retort, but the words died on his lips. No one had ever spoken to him like that. Bruce continued, dark eyes shining with intensity. "True power is not in the punch you throw, but in what you don't throw. When I fight, I don't think about winning. I don't think about losing. I don't think about anything. I am the movement. The body moves because the mind is empty, and emptiness is where true speed lives. It's like a river, the fewer obstacles, the faster it flows." There he felt a chill run down his spine. This wasn't cheap philosophy, it was something he felt was true but had never been able to name. He, who lived on provocations and absolute confidence, suddenly found himself questioning the weight he carried, the title, the fame, the expectations. "So you're saying I should stop thinking?" Ali murmured, almost in disbelief. Bruce laughed, a light, genuine sound. "No. I'm saying you should train yourself not to think. Most people think that the mind is like a muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it gets. But the mind is like a glass. If it's full, there's nothing left. You need to empty it so something new can enter." Ali was silent for a long moment. The noise of the gym seemed distant, as if the two of them were in a space of their own. He thought about all the times he had entered the ring with his mind racing, how sometimes victory came when he stopped trying to be the best and just was. He thought about his own journey, about the struggles he had overcome not by force, but by pure intuition. "Damn," he whispered, running a hand over his face. "You just messed with my head." Bruce smiled, satisfied. "Good. Now you're ready to learn something real." The two stood there, still, while the world around them continued its rhythm. Ali didn't know it, but those words would stay with him for years. He would return to them in moments of doubt, in nights when the weight of the world title seemed unbearable, in times when he needed to remember that greatness was not in what he had, but in what he let go. And Bruce Lee, who had already taught the world how to fight, had just taught Muhammad Ali something even more profound, how to stop fighting. The weight of the void. The days that followed were strange for Ali. He woke up before dawn, as always, but instead of running through the streets of Louisville with sweat burning his eyes, he stood in the middle of his room, staring at his hands. They had already broken noses, toppled giants, raised belts. But now, when he clenched his fists, he felt only the echo of what Bruce had told him: greatness is not in what you have, but in what you let go. In the ring, this was heresy. His coaches noticed the change. Angelo Dundee, his voice hoarse from decades of shouting, pulled him aside after a sparring session in which Ali had let a young heavyweight land a right to the jaw without fighting back. "What the hell is happening to you?" Dundee spat, throwing a wet towel at Ali's shoulder. You're fighting like you're afraid of hurting the guy. Ollie didn't respond. He just smiled, that same lazy smile that made the cameras go off, and shrugged. Maybe I am. Dundee swore and walked away, but the seed had already been planted. In subsequent training sessions, Ollie began to move differently. No longer like a dancer trying to avoid blows, but like someone who observed the opponent not as an enemy, but as a mirror. He stopped shouting "I'm the greatest" before fights. He stopped provoking his opponents with sharp rhymes. He even stopped reading the headlines that called him King of the World. And the world noticed. The newspapers began to speculate. Has there lost his fire, they asked. Is the champion old? Prosecutors were nervous. A fight without the provocative Ollie, without the showman Ollie, was a fight without box office. Even Joe Frazier, his biggest rival, called him, his voice filled with suspicion. Are you kidding me, Muhammad? He growled on the other end of the line. Or is it just another one of your tricks? Ollie laughed, but there was no joy in the laugh. Joe, my brother, I don't know what I am anymore. The fight against George Foreman in Kinshasa was the turning point. Not because of the result, Ollie won, as always, but because of the form. He didn't dance. He didn't provoke it. It didn't move like a butterfly. Instead, he leaned against the ropes, letting Foreman throw hammer-like punches against his body, while whispering in his opponent's ear between blows. Is that all you have, George? Foreman, a man who had knocked men down with a single punch, broke out in a cold sweat. Each blow he delivered seemed to lose power, as if Ollie was absorbing not just the impact, but his opponent's own anger. When Foreman finally fell, exhausted, in the 8th round, it wasn't because of a knockout. It was because of the tiredness of fighting a man who no longer wanted to fight. The public went crazy. Journalists called it the rope-a-dope tactic, but Ollie knew it wasn't a tactic. It was surrender. It was letting go. Years later, as an old man, with Parkinson's taking away his voice and movement, Ollie sat on a park bench in Las Vegas, watching children playing. One of them, a black boy with makeshift boxing gloves, ran up to him. Are you Muhammad Ali? He asked, his eyes shining. Ollie nodded, slowly. I want to be like you when I grow up, said the boy. I want to be the greatest. Ollie looked at him for a long time. Then, with difficulty, he raised his trembling hand and touched the boy's shoulder. Don't be like me, he whispered. Be better. The boy frowned, confused, but Ollie was already on his feet, walking slowly towards the sunset. He didn't turn around. It didn't need to. Bruce Lee was right. The real fight was never against others. It was against the need to win. And Ollie, finally, had stopped fighting.